Welcome to Saathwic Infotech Devops Series. Today we are going to discuss about understanding Linux users and configurations. Okay. Without further ado, let's log into our Linux server. Okay. Clear. Yeah. Fine. So what are we going to do today? So till now we have been using our Oracle user and we have been navigated to root account and we have still practiced like few of the basic commands in the Linux with respect to comparison between like Linux and users how it works, right? Windows how it works. So today also we are going to do the same process, right? So in Windows there will be one account called administrator account, okay, which is nothing but root account in Linux environment. Okay, we know already that, right? So we have administrator in Windows, root account in Linux. Now, so most of the time we don't log in as administrator. We will have our own account to do our day-to-day routine activity, right? So yes, how do we create a user in Linux? So I am going to do that. User add command will help you to create the user. Today I am going to create a user called DevOps. Okay. For example, see I am already as an user called Oracle. Okay, if I am an Oracle user, I do not, because I am not an administrator to create another user, right? So that's why I'm getting a permission denied error. So let me switch to root user. Okay, now I am a root. Okay, if I do user add DevOps, okay, now the user DevOps got added. So the next question is like, how do I set a password for DevOps, right? So PASSWD DevOps. Only administrator can set a password for other users. Not every users can do. They can only reset their own password, not others' password. So keep that in mind. So new password is, let me keep as DevOps simple. DevOps simple. Ignore that shorten 8 characters, something like that, right? Those are running because it's a test server. We don't really care about it. So let me exit out of root and log into DevOps account. Okay, clear. So now I have created a user and I have logged in as a DevOps account. Got it. So hope I have made it clear. So now the next question is, right? So in Windows, generally we go into Windows accounts where you will see the list of users in your Windows machine. Okay, if it is your personal laptop. In enterprise laptops, most probably you will have a domain account where you don't have access to see who all the users. Okay, if you are working on your personal laptop, we generally do. Again, this is our own server, right? Here we do have privilege to see that. So how do I see who are all like the users created in this particular server? Means that those users are locally created on the server as if we created now. Okay, there is a command called cat. As we discussed yesterday, we can create a file with vi command. We can view a file with vi command. The same way we can also view a file with cat command. Okay, cat etc/passwd. This is a special file which holds all the user information. Okay, as a DevOps engineer, you should be very well aware about this file. Okay, this will be very much useful for your day-to-day operations. Okay, so what is the detail contained in this file? Let's look at the last line, right? You have a user called DevOps. It has the user ID 1002. Okay, this 1002 is nothing but user ID. Okay, for any user, there will be an user ID created in Linux. Hope it will be the same in Windows too, but we may not be aware of those ID because it's user friendly. So 1002, this is nothing but group ID. Okay, yesterday we were discussing about your home directories. So how the home directories are set? Home directories are set in passwd file. So this particular path is your home directory for DevOps account. If you have any doubts, just you can pwd and check. Okay, this is your default shell. Okay, we will discuss about this shell when we actually write our shell scriptings. Okay, right now we are only looking at the basic commands. Okay, so by default it's shell. If you want to double check, echo $shell. This will display your default shell, which is nothing but bin/bash, which is configured in your passwd file. Okay. So what is this echo? As I typed it, right? So echo is nothing but a print statement in Linux. If you want to print something in Linux, you are going to use echo statement. Okay, fine, great. Okay, so now, okay, with respect to PASSWD file, just understand to this extent, we will be using this file during our use case testing. We will be doing like many use case while writing shell script. During those time, we will be mostly using this file for our use case process. Okay, sorry. Uh, So now I created a user. Let me try to understand my user, right? Okay. How do I validate? So in this file, all these details are there. Okay. Here you don't have like secondary groups and other details. So how do I know what are the users associated to my group, or what is my group for this particular user, right? It's all like ID, which you really don't know. So you need to find what is the group name. Basically it's an ID, right? What is the group name associated to my user? So how do you check? There is a command called id in Linux. So if you give id devops, it will give you the what is the name of that particular id. In your case, for 1002 user id, the username is DevOps. For 1002 group ID, the group name is DevOps. Okay, this is a basically this part is nothing but your primary group. So any file which is getting created, that will be associated with this primary group. Okay, this groups is nothing but secondary group. By default, the user will be associated with this primary group as a secondary group. A user can have multiple secondary group. So in order to check that, you can use our Oracle account. For example, for Oracle user, this is the Oracle ID, user ID. This is nothing but Oracle primary group. This is nothing but Oracle secondary group. If you look at, we just not have one group. Oracle has been associated with multiple secondary groups. Okay, fine. So understand that a user can be part of multiple groups. Okay. This is basically to restrict the access, nothing much, right? So how do what kind of access a user can do in order to give that granularity of information? All these details you should know, so that in case of any permission related errors, you can easily handle it. So that's the main reason I was explaining you all these core basics. Okay, now let me speak about one more thing. Okay, let me first create a sample file. Okay, just a minute back, I created a sample file. Okay, as I logged with DevOps user, the file is owned by DevOps user and the group is also DevOps. Okay, this is a primary group, right? So as I mentioned, the primary group will be default group for any file which is created by particular user. Okay, that's great. So the other part which we discussed yesterday is like, okay, these 7 dashes. Okay, what are those 7 dashes? Okay, let me close this one. Don't save. Notepad. Let me copy it. Okay, let me separate the 7 dashes by based on some grouping. Okay, in our yesterday session, okay, I have been explaining about this, right? So the first dash denotes whether what type of object it is, whether it's a directory or a file or a linked list or link. The second three denotes the permission owner as on that object. In our case, the object is sample file. Okay. The next three denotes the permission group members as on that object. In our case, DevOps group members. Okay. Here, the permission other than, okay, what action can other perform on the sample file. So basically, others in here is nothing but the user who is not part of owner or groups. Okay, that's why we call it as others. For example, in our case, Oracle will be an other user. Okay, that denotes. So for example, if you are a owner, you can read and write. Okay, before I go there, right, let me explain what is R, what is W, what is X. R is nothing but read. Okay, in theory we call it as read. In numerical form we denote it by 4. Okay, R is nothing but read, and it also referred to as 4. Let me tell you where it referred as. W is nothing but write. It also referred by the value called 2. X is referred as execute. It is also referred as 1. Okay. If a user has been given with read, write, execute, I can refer this as sum of all the numbers, which is nothing but 7. Okay. Am I making clear? Let me repeat. All the individual formations has their own numerical identifier. R is referred as 4, W is referred as 2, X is referred as 1. If I want to grant read, write, execute to any of the user or owner or group or other, I can refer it as 7. It means that particular category of people, either user, maybe owner or group or other, will get all the permissions. Okay. So now coming to the point. So with respect to our example above, the owner of the file sample, okay, the owner of the file sample, right? He can do read and write. The group members of DevOps can also read and write on sample file. Okay, any other any other user in the server can just read the file. They cannot write or execute. Okay, hope you understand this one, right? Okay, here comes one more important point. Okay, here comes your one more important point. You need to understand what is the default permission. Okay, when I created as DevOps user, okay, I logged in as a DevOps, I just created a file. How come this permission got assigned? Where all these informations are configured? Okay, you will have all those questions, right? Say I explained what is R, I explained what is W, I explained what is X. Okay, but did we ever thought how this permission came by default? Okay, this is what we are going to discuss in next session tomorrow. Okay, if you guys know the answer, please give it in the comment box. We will discuss everything tomorrow. Thanks for watching.